You came to the event, and what happened?
It really sparked my interest. Like, oh,
The feeling of the pressure is like pushing you to complete your. What is the biggest challenge to in this kind of event? Is there like any tip you could give me?
hello and welcome everyone. In this video, we will talk about hackathons with my guest Michał.
Hello. You came to the event, and what happened? Like you were alone or with the team? How was your the first hackathon you took part in?
My first hackathon was online hackathon. I believe it was like a bit more than 2 years ago. I think that I just found it somewhere on YouTube. I was just watching some YouTube videos, and one of the guys just mentioned that he's participating in this kind of hackathon, and he encouraged people to take a part in it. It really sparked my interest. Like, oh, you can build something and show to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I joined as a solo, so I remember my first project I delivered was a solo project.
Okay.
So I didn't have any teammate or anything like that. But also, what was interesting, why maybe I decided even to join this kind of hackathon, because I thought that I was building quite a lot of things. I really found it really interesting to experiment with new technologies, build some kind of pet projects, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the projects, first of all, I didn't have motivation to finish them, sometimes not even to start. Second thing is that when you have unlimited time, like when is the deadline, sometimes very often never.
Yeah.
And also when you don't have, let's say, the audience, there's no one who will just look at your app, etc.
Yes.
It's the motivation can even go lower.
Okay, so the feeling of the pressure is like pushing you to complete your side project in time, let's say, right?
Yes, because first of all, you're competing with other people. You will most likely have the chance to present it to others, either, let's say, in real life on site or online in some kind of online meeting, or at least record a video, and that some people may watch it. Maybe your project will then be some kind of gallery, so they can give you comments, they can give you feedback, etc. When you have this time pressure that you don't have unlimited time, you can have, for example, 24 hours, like in our case, I think probably one of the shortest form of hackathons. Sometimes it's like 1 week, sometimes few days, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes even more than that, but generally I would say it's about 1 to 4 days, let's say.
Okay. It seems to be cool. What about the on-site events? Is it different from online? Of course, it's on-site, but the overall schedule or so on is different?
I would say like that. There's not much difference, let's say, between online and on-site. Even these days we see more and more hackathons that are hybrid, where you can hack both online and on-site. And some of the participants may be like, some of the teams may be completely remote, some of them can be on-site, and some of the teams may be even mixed up. I personally even have this kind of experience working in those kind of teams when some of the people were on-site and others were just joining remotely. But definitely there is this really nice vibe when you are in some kind of physical place and you can just meet other people, and it's kind of easier, I would say, to meet other people, just just go and then chat with someone. But I wouldn't say it's impossible with online hackathons. I also met a lot of people, for example, on Discord communities, etc. We were building, and we just started chatting and even ended up building some kind of projects together. But definitely, and also this atmosphere when you are there site with other people and coding, you just see other people just coding, etc. So
it's for me, it's like a technical party a little bit, because we are participating in 4 members team, and we all have like the same shirts. We have bought shirts for that event. The atmosphere is very, very good. I'm very motivated. And what about the idea of the project that you are going to solve? So is it like you're creating the idea on site, or like you are going prepared to that? How is it?
Right. So I think this is a very good question. I'm also going to elaborate on that a bit more, because first of all, I think this is if you are going to participate in hackathon, listen to this one because I think this is one of the most important things, because during the hackathon, like I mentioned, you have very limited time, and if you don't have, say, some kind of draft, some kind of idea in your mind, personally often had this kind of experiences when, for example, there was like 2-day hackathon, and one day we were just spending thinking about, brainstorming about the idea. So definitely starting to think about the idea after the hackathon starts is not a good idea. I made this mistake many times, and it cost us a lot. I mean, like time, and then we couldn't deliver the project, whatever. So definitely think about the solution beforehand if you can. Generally, if you're participating in hackathons, most of the time I've seen this kind of pattern. You have some kind of providers of different various technologies. Can be some kind of database provider, maybe some kind of front-end framework provider, whatever.
So on.
This kind of stuff, some kind of third-party services, etc., etc. And they may be one of the sponsors of the event. In order, to find some kind of use cases for their own tool, you may be encouraged to use this in your project. So you can first of all think about some kind of real-life problem. Like most of the time, you should actually solve the problems, not create ones. That's also important to mention. Later on, you can try to incorporate those technologies in your project to just show and prove that you can use them in a meaningful full way, etc. And also you can then earn some bounties, etc.
Right. So when you come to the event, you should have like a idea or at least like a draft and like a stack of technologies you would like to use in that, right?
I mean, it would be the perfect scenario. Of course, sometimes it's not possible because very often it's also like that you just go to some kind of event and you still don't have the exact idea, or maybe you have, but you don't have the team ready, and you just go, you meet some people there on site, and then you just start brainstorming, etc. Sometimes you may disagree on the, let's say, idea. Maybe someone else will have even better idea. Maybe you find this idea is not good. I would say it's really worth mentioning that if you have some kind of mentors or maybe the sponsors of very bounty categories, you can just ask them directly. You can tell them, you can mention about your idea. And sometimes you can see like it's really good. They can give you some kind of feedback or advice, or maybe even they can completely, change your mind, and you may end up building something completely different. It happened to me several times.
Okay. So the question rises in my head. This is going to take 24 hours. Like I need to eat, drink, and so on. I know we are going to need like a bag of energy drinks and so on. Maybe is there something that I shall take with me?
Actually, it depends. Do you want to code like for 24 hours straight or not?
Definitely.
I wouldn't recommend, to be honest, but since we have only 24 hours, then it's not much to be done. Generally, from my own experience, I would say that we are not that much, let's say, effective or performant when we have this let's say lack of sleep, etc. So just drink a lot of water. Definitely try to eat something healthy during those hackathons. Generally, there is, if you are on an on-site event, there is some kind of food and drinks provided, but generally they are not very healthy, I would say. So I would be you have to be prepared yourself that there may be a lot of fast foods, etc. The same with drinks. I think can give you like a short-term energy boost. But in the long term, it can worsen your performance. So
what is the biggest challenge to in this kind of event? What is the most cumbersome thing in this situation to solve?
Definitely delivering the project
on time.
Yes, because you have very limited time.
Okay, so it's often like you have to clean some things in your project, like you have like a selected idea, you started to build it, and there is many features that you want to build, right? So you have to like focus on the like main feature. What is this app solving, right?
You shouldn't let go for too many features. You can mention them in your presentation, whatever. You can also add them to the roadmap, for example, because who knows, like I mentioned, sometimes those kind of hackathon projects may even end up being startup ideas. And I know several, let's say, people who already started their own companies and they are doing quite well. But the thing is that I wouldn't go for too many features. Try to limit the scope to something that you can deliver, something realistic. So probably just like one single feature, but something that is working, kind of, let's say. It can be, of course, it's just hackathon. try to be realistic about the deadline, the technical scope, etc. Because what I've seen, I also made this mistake many times that I thought like, okay, let's do this, and that is very cool idea. Maybe we can do that, but we ended up like just like touching some of the project, like several features, and in the end not delivering any of these or delivering in like poor version. So try to limit the scope. Sometimes it's very difficult, but I think the key to the success is limit the scope, focus on one thing, and just do it right.
Yeah, so done is better than perfect, because
definitely.
if you do not submit the project, it's like everything is going to trash, like.
Still, and the word that you mentioned, perfect, like perfection, definitely avoid it during the hackathon. It will be probably your worst enemy. Of course, for example, if you had just only 24 hours, it's really difficult to deliver pretty much anything. Even if you have few days or sometimes a week or two, it's still quite tough to build something that is, let's say, high quality, etc.
Okay.
So you have to keep in mind that those kind of projects are generally not, let's say, of those very high standards. It's rather just like, taking few puzzles from here and there and just delivering working prototype to prove that something can work.
Okay. So how is the submission? How you are going to submit the project? Like you pushing the repository to organization or so on? How it works?
So it's changing. Generally, it's changing
Okay.
because it depends on the hackathon. Of course, you should check the rules beforehand. But most of the time, you are basically using GitHub, so you can just upload your code. Most of the time, the requirement is to keep it kind of open source so that everyone can see the code, and also the judges don't do just very bad, let's say, code, but try to keep some kind of standards, and definitely you will score in this way.
Okay, there is one important question. Do you have to deploy it somewhere, or you can like present it on localhost?
Here it can be quite challenging to deploy something, especially if you are trying to deploy some kind of, for example, mobile app. This is very, very tough. Sometimes almost impossible to do. Unless you are using tools like, for example, Expo for React Native, so that someone can scan the, let's say, code and run it on their device. But in terms of its like kind of website, maybe backend service, well, you can do this, like possibly if you can, I would say try to deploy it so that the judge can run the application, check how does it even work, and just prove it that it's actually a working product. But if you can't, if it's impossible, I think like in most of the hackathons, it's not the requirement. Make it deployed working app, but you can still just give like some kind of instruction, how can you run it locally, etc. And definitely, I think like in pretty much every hackathon that I participated, you have to record demo of your project and show how it works. At least, I don't know, try to mock something, but I would still like encourage you to build something functional.
Okay. That makes sense for me. Is there like any tip you could give me?
So again, just be realistic about your expectations. Don't try to put too many features in the app. Just focus on some very limited scope, and possibly, if you can, try to have the whole team ready and also the idea before the hackathon. Also, of course, don't build the application beforehand, because I also heard about this kind of events where, for example, there was some project that was on the GitHub, like sometimes even few months before hackathons, and I think this is not ethical, not moral. So
well, that will be easy to like see, because if the project is very big, like you can't build like a Facebook in 24 hours.
Yeah, also it depends on the time, because sometimes you can have more, but still, like try to I think just do it in ethical way and show. But of course, I think like having the idea beforehand, something that you can just like work on the brainstorm the idea, etc. So that during the hackathon you can just really spend your time on building the project, preparing the presentation, recording the video, etc., and managing the team.
So we are going to take part in a Hack Warsaw at Google campus at Warsaw. This is 24 hours hackathons.
Yeah, so actually, if you're also interested, if you are watching this video before the hackathon. So basically we'll probably have only like 7 days or something like that. Probably you can also participate if you live in Warsaw or somewhere close to Warsaw, or if you can let's say somehow get there. I'm not sure, is it possible to join this hackathon remotely? Probably yes, but still there are a bunch of other hackathons out there. So if you would like to give a try, probably you can find other hackathons. So yeah, there will be a hackathon called Hack Warsaw. Actually, this one will be quite special for some reason. I've heard it's like very big event. I never took a part in, let's say, this Angel Hack event, so it will be first time for me in case of this, let's say, Angel Hack event, hackathon event, let's say. But another thing is that something which we talked about just a few minutes ago was that generally you have those kind of bounties, the sponsors, etc. Here in this hackathon, I didn't see many bounties. There is this one that you mentioned about, this avalanche, but generally I think that it looks like there is some kind of, let's say, freedom in the choice of the technology, etc. Don't get me wrong, that generally in most of the hackathons you have still this freedom, but generally if you have some kind of tool, you kind of focus around the given set of tools or one tool, how to implement it. But here I think you are totally free just to make something meaningful, make something working. And what was very also interesting in my opinion about this hackathon is that it's focused around solving some kind of issues that we have in our everyday life, especially about civic and environment life. So I think some really cool and meaningful and useful projects can come out of it. Second thing which you can also check out, we will actually link it down there. You will have a bit more time. There's not exactly a hackathon. It's called something like a competition challenge, but still it's very similar to hackathon idea. It's called this Gemini API Developer Challenge or competition. I'm not sure right now. We will just link it. You can check it down below. Organized by Google itself, actually. Yeah, there you can actually build some kind of prototype with this new Gemini API. And also I just checked, they have really interesting set of tools, like for example this Google AI Edge with MediaPipe, where you can actually use some kind of also machine learning, like for example TensorFlow for, I don't know, hand recognition, body object recognition in real time. And I think maybe it can be a nice idea to just connect those two things together. Yeah, so check it out and give it a try.
Yeah. Definitely. Let's take part in the Hack Warsaw, and if we still are going to be happy with our results, let's check the Google event. So thank you very much for your for sharing with your experience.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, we may take a second talk after the hackathon.
Yeah, or maybe even during the hackathon. Yeah. Maybe we'll record something, who knows. So I'm still considering recording some kind of vlog type. I don't know. Let's see. Actually, I did it in the past, so.
Yeah, we will see. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So stay tuned for more. And if you have any questions, comments, just leave them down below. And who knows, maybe we'll even see you at the event. So let us know if you are going to participate. If you are watching before, of course, the Hack Warsaw event. If not, still you can just let us know if you been there, or maybe you participate in other hackathons, or maybe you just want to share your experience. So let us know. So thank you, and stay tuned for more videos soon. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, bye.